I've been thinking about language ideologies a lot lately. I'll explain what that is in a second. But the reason I've been thinking about it is because a lot of people have been saying, hey, why isn't my language in your database? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you explained this? And honestly, the biggest reason is that I'm just one person. I do not get paid to do this. This is a very, very small part of my research. It's a very important one to me, and I'm sure it's important to many of you, the Turkic database. But, I'm one person. I don't have time to sort through, thousands and thousands of pages of academic literature. Um, and also, I do rely on academic literature. So, people email me all the time. Here's how you say this in this language. That's great. Give me a citation. But back to language ideology. I suspect one of the reasons people reach out to me is because they want, evidence that their language is real. Um, and I get that. That's super important. And let me tell you, your language is real. And the reason it's real is because language ideologies are the set of beliefs that we have about language generally. Very often they're wrong, and very often they're negative. I'm just going to go through a few of them. One is that there is a one-to-one correspondence between language and ethnicity. It's likewise an ideology that says that there's a one-to-one correspondence between language, ethnicity, religion, nation. So if you are French, you speak French, you live in France, you are vaguely Protestant or Catholic or something, you're Christian at least. So all those together make you French. In reality, the world is much more complicated than that. We know that there are many nations where there are multiple ethnic groups. We know that there are multiple ethnic groups who all speak the same language. We know that there are ethnic groups that speak multiple languages. There is no one-to-one relationship between ethnicity or culture or identity or language or any of that. The world's a complicated place, and that's okay. Um, so when we talk about things like language and ethnicity, it's kind of important to distinguish between the two. Here in the United States, pretty much everybody speaks English, but we have tons and tons of ethnic groups. Some of them have minor variations in the way they speak. We have African American English, we have Chicano English, we have modern immigrants who speak varying forms of English that aren't quite the standard. Um, but even though everybody speaks English, even though we're all Americans, that doesn't mean that these ethnic groups don't exist um, and shouldn't be recognized. They should be. That's really important. Another example of a linguistic ideology is that there is one correct way to speak language. And this is something that's often used against racial and ethnic minorities. Oh, this group doesn't speak the language properly. It's like, no, they speak language just fine. It's just their way of speaking it. Um, if you look at English again, the English spoken in the UK has a standard form that's quite different from the English spoken in the United States, or from Canada, or from South Africa, or Australia, or India, or Nigeria, or any of the many places that English is spoken. There is also this notion that language has to be pure. You see this in many languages where they reject words from other languages, or say the influence of this other language is deteriorating our language. So, long story short, I just wanted to point out that language ideologies are something I think about a lot, especially when I work in my database. Um, I certainly hope that I don't ever come across as prioritizing one group over another. I want to acknowledge that for any language in the database, there's probably more than one ethnic group that speaks it. Lots of people speak Turkish, lots of people speak Uzbek, Kazakh, so on and so forth. Like I said, there's no one-to-one correlation. And so if your group, your identity, your ethnicity is not represented, um, that is no slight on you. I will see what I can do if possible. But again, I'm only one person, and I understand the need to be recognized, and I think that you should be.